10 right in the standings right now, and Lightside 6 and 8 as we're straight into Champ Select. So, Damada, while we're watching the Champ Select, give me a brief breakdown of these teams and kind of what we're expecting out of this.
So, Verdant 4 and 10, like you say. Lightside, I believe 6 and 8 now. Right, for us. Lightside, a team that were for the longest time contesting the top 4 spots, but in recent weeks have just not been able to find the results that they needed to go their way. And multitude of reasons really pick up for it, whether it be things like maybe you don't necessarily agree with the drafts or how they're playing out some of the matchups individually. Loads of things not going right for Lightside. Whereas on the opposite side of Verdant, well, I mean, the story is very much well known. Verdant came in expecting to be a top team, top 2, top 3, not been able to perform. Now in a position where they need to win every single game in order to have a potential shot at the very least of, you know, maybe making it to playoffs. Even then, it's just not in their hands. The results have to go their way. But more importantly, avoiding relegation right now, 9th place in the league. So have to pick up this win, and it will technically close the gap between them and Lightside because they are only 2 games away from one another. And that could push Lightside into a position where they could themselves end up in a world where relegation is a possibility, because London United are looking like a very strong team, and all it takes is for London United to win the rest of their games, which, given how they're performing, I wouldn't put it past them. And for Verdant to also do the same, and if Lightside continue to struggle, could actually be them in the bottom 2 slot.
Well, we are straight into the picks and bans. Like we said, we've seen the bans already go through, and it's at first pick Zeri here for the side of Verdant. Volibear going to get picked up by Lightside for themselves there. Obviously, is a bit of a flexible pick. Can go between the jungle and the top. I think it's typically jungle more focused at the moment, if I remember right. And that's our second Soraka of the day.
Yeah, that is our second Soraka of the game. And this one is a lot earlier than what we saw, obviously, in the Lucent game. They saw the entire competition. This time, they're just going for the straight-up Soraka. So, curious to see what the plan is with this pick, because it is obviously very specific. It has to fit into certain niches, and it has to usually see what it's playing into. And this is kind of why, because Soraka into a whole bunch of dive, whilst, you know, if there's not a lot of follow-up damage with that dive, it can work out well. But, you know, the issue with competitive players, target selection, things like that, a lot easier to pick up on the Soraka and be like, okay, guys, throw all your damage onto the Soraka. It's not the same in solo queue. So it's a bit bold, to say the very least. Verdant, for now, I think, very strong opening rotation. They've got the Zeri, they've got a bit of engage to match. The Volibear could have even gone for the Xin Zhao. It was still up and available if they really wanted it. And they will round out this side of the draft with this Jace, a little bit more range, a little bit of poke.
Wow, this is a really fun Champ Select, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
Jarvan coming in, you got the Aurelia, the Volibear, the Soraka. There's so many little things here. We'll see what's going to get banned away, because I'm not sure typically what you would like be banning at this point. Because I feel like a lot of the meta and like the standard stuff has been thrown out the window. So that might shake things up. Thresh is a good ban. I totally agree with that, though.
Thresh makes sense. You don't want to give up as much sort of setup as you have already with the Jarvan being there in the early game. And if you're planning to run this Soraka in the bottom lane, whether it be Touch or Sadie, or Sadie rather, you just don't want the Thresh in the game, I think. So that makes a whole bunch of sense. On the opposite side of Verdant, things are kind of difficult because you don't know whether or not this Soraka's going mid, support, hell, even technically top. You know the Aurelia is probably going to follow the Jace regardless of what lane the Jace ends up in. I'm going to go for the Narban. So expecting this to be Vipes, very much do know Vipe can play this Aurelia, but I'm sure Svene very, very comfortable on the champion as well. So let's see what Lightside will go for in their second rotation. I think they're looking to, you know, sort of ban away things that follow up with the Avocado with the Jarvan. The easiest one would probably be the Rakan. If you're looking at ease of execution, then probably something like Nautilus would probably be the next best. As it's just going to be the Vex instead. So they're just saying, all right, it could still, you know, they still could end up with Vex in the mid lane. We don't want to have to deal with that dive. Again, it still fits into the profile of we wanted to take away things that want to dive forward with each other.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the final ban here from Verdant. Curious to see if they just go again towards the top lane, or if they actually do also ban out a mid laner, so taking away the potential for there to be an Orianna. I think Orianna would really fit Lightside's comp as well. And gonna lock in the Leona here, so that's top lane Soraka or mid lane Soraka, depending on where this Jace goes.
It could also go bot. So my expectation is the Aurelia is going to follow the Jace, regardless of who's piloting the Aurelia. And the Soraka is then going to go probably into the bottom lane, into the Zeri, because that would be my best. That's the only reason why you would go Soraka. So
okay, so it's like a farming Soraka with the score. Okay.
I think they did, because there's no other reason to do it. And Verdant, they're going to go for this rail. There's not too much to disrupt. a lot of the engage from it, and it can follow up disastrously for the side of the light side on those Jarvan engages, and could just go for something that can just continue to follow forward. Something like the something like that.
The Ari will be
the Ari would just make a whole bunch of sense, and they're just gonna go for it. Now it's over to Lightside on what they want to do with their comp, where they want to chuck the Irelia. I'm expecting that the Soraka goes into the Zeri here for probably just laning reasons, right? I think definitely outrunning things like that. It can be very irritating, I would imagine, to play trade patterns into Soraka. But most importantly, if you get locked down by the Leona, then you get silence chained too. It just looks quite bad. That'll be my best guess.
Well, we're actually seeing the Silas as the final lock-in here for the side of Lightside. Now, I haven't seen Silas into Ari since the changes to Ari. Does he also get the reset on the Ariel?
Yeah.
That's really fun. Okay.
So, Silas already has a fair amount of it. You know, he's got 2.5 dashes, if you want to sort of count the W, right? Obviously, he has to connect the E to get the chainsaw.
Yeah.
That's the dash in its own right. Imagine giving him 3 more dashes that also deal damage to another target, and also can give him more dashes if he finds resets. Yeah, that's
So
it's not
I'm just looking at my screen right now, and I'm like, right, what is a bad ultimate for Silas? I guess Jace isn't amazing.
Jace, yeah, that's about it. I mean,
Zeri's like okay, but like, you know, you'll take it, but Cataclysm, AP Cataclysm, Yum, Ari, Yum, Reset,
Yum.
Rel,
Yum.
super Yum.
Oh, okay.
That's a big one. You go in, pull everyone in with that, and then you're just healing. Because if he goes in with that Rel, you then look at the rest of the team. If he gets multiple members with the Magnet Storm, you then get the Vanguard Sedge, you get the Stormbringer slapping down on you. Everybody gets silenced by the Soraka, Leona Solar Flare. That's dinner. Dinner served.
Yeah.
That's why I said Yum.
Verdant have to really take care of their engages and who and where they go on, in particular, and the information they have at hand in terms of where people are. Because if you're just, you know, front to back engaging here, the turnaround is potentially kind of nasty, like you said.
Yeah.
There is so much follow-up CC and AoE damage that can come out that it could really be problematic. And especially if the Irelia gets going, that's probably the biggest scare. Because, you know, at the end of the day, most of this light side composition is sort of turnaround CC.
Yeah. So here's the thing for me, though. We've had some quite scrappy fights, especially if you watched the Division 1 yesterday, XL versus Riddle. That was a very scrappy fight. I think these could potentially just be very one-sided fights.
Yeah.
I think that's I think whoever gets like the good start to the fight is going to be able to just walk through the fight. Now, obviously, Lightside, I think, have the turning capability, so they could get engaged on and then just counter-engage themselves. So I think maybe that's giving themselves some tools. I'm just thinking ease of execution. Both teams, genuinely, I actually think it's not overly hard to pull off these team fights.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's pretty simple on either end to really pilot these comps. Like you say, if you have a Jarvan on your team, typically engage is very simple. Flag drag, Cataclysm, follow up. For Lightside, like you say, whilst there's not necessarily like but even though it's going to sound kind of stupid because Leona's there, but there's not like a Jarvan on your team, let's say, right? Leona's going to try and set up for the rest of the follow-up to come in if you're the proactive team, and that's kind of it. Whereas on Verdant's side, you can go for things like a pick or a charm to then have that followed up by Ericsson. Or as winner, you can try and play Pop the Fog. A little more sort of one-dimensional, more times than not from Lightside. But it doesn't mean they have less options. It just means that Verdant have, you know, a little more flexibility. Just saying how they can approach some of these fights. For now, though, junglers both on the bottom side. Looks like they'll be puffing up to the top side, and I think that makes a whole bunch of sense. There's a lot of volatility in that top lane, which I think both of them will very dearly want to capitalize on.
Yeah. This bot lane is probably going to be quite boring for everybody. I don't think much is going to be happening here until team fights. I guess Draconium's probably kind of okay with that. Like, Zeri typically wants to get that Triforce before she starts scrapping. I think for Toucher and Winter, this is going to be a game where it's going to be a bit of a sad one. They're just going to stand in bushes and threat the dive, threat the engage, but never really have the ability to start it or pull it off.
Sounds about right.
We love playing engage supports in lanes like this.
Yes, you do, unless you try and find some kind of angle here. But yeah, there you go. Level 2's ticked over, and now that's going to be it for a little while, unfortunately. Top lane, though, wave stacking.
Yeah.
However, Sybil is actually changing his pathing back down to the bottom side. So it went from Grump, then Blue, Wolves. He's pathing back down to his lane where he has priority as well. Priority in all 3 lanes for Verdant. So let's see what they can get done here. Because this is both one of the best positions to be in the early game, but also...
Fatty's actually landed a nice trade there. Ericsson had a minion wave, so he couldn't actually charm. I did want to actually have a look at this mid lane because you could see that Fatty constantly being shoved in the mid side, and now actually we've got a support who's obviously can't do anything in their lane, looking to see if they can make something happen here in the mid.
Yeah, and this is the thing, when you have 3 lanes of priority, sometimes the gameplay can get a little bit awkward to pilot because you have so many options, you don't necessarily know what to do. Not from the jungle perspective, but also on a wider array of things like winner. From the bottom lane, you only really typically have the option of roaming up to the mid lane, going for a reset, or just sort of fogging in the bush. And in this case, went up to the mid lane with Sybil, tried to find something from IP, but actually didn't like it was going to be had. And not only that, when you have 3 lanes priority, it opens up to one of your lanes at least being potentially attacked. And in this case, Victor wasn't able to find anything on the top lane, and now that wave will crash in.
Oh, they got the flash, they got the flag, they got the drag. Sadie going pretty low here. Ignited, one more auto, first blood for Draconium, and Touch will be able to limp away underneath their tower. But your AD carry, your Soraka's dead.
Soraka's dead. Your AP carry. Called it. As a
carry.
Patience pays off for Sybil there. Flash, all 3 blown between those members who committed to that play. So Lightside, they might not feel too bad about if they can find some kind of play back down towards the bottom side. But yeah, giving that one up. Very nice amount of waiting there. Sybil to ensure that they can actually lock up the Soraka. And now with no flash, it does mean very easy target to re-engage on, and Realm loves those flashless targets. Oh. Never seen that one before.
League of Legends is now a first-person shooter. That was a crosshair.
That was a crosshair.
Yeah. It's like Sybil might be looking to see if he can find something here in the top side, but that ward is going to spot him out. Is Vene just going to have to head underneath his tower. Obviously, on the Aurelia, can farm this wave up fairly easy. Champion excels underneath tower as such. There we go.
Yep. Not only that, kind of heal up a lot. I forget that sometimes Aurelia, even if she doesn't get the gold, she actually gets the reset. But I think the easy way to track it is the passive bar, of course.
Yes.
Whether or not she gets a stack or not.
But now you can't track it with that.
Now you can't track it. But great from Sybil, realizing, all right, my Jace is crashing in a wave. I have to ensure that he's not going to get dove. But because he walked over that ward, Lightside make the decision to start up that dragon. They have priority on the bottom side, and they make that one work. Draconium, all alone for now in the bottom lane, does have cleanse, but no flash. And I mean, Leona has that flash up and available on the follow-up from Volibear. Very, very dangerous. Sybil, as you can see, miles away from the play if it were to happen, but they go away.
Alrighty, well, dragon number 1 over to Lightside. I'm really interested to see exactly how this is going to go as we get later in. Obviously, you know, you don't really have like that constant DPS. I guess Aurelia fills that role, but it is melee, so you have to kind of get in the thick of it. And there's quite a lot of CC you're jumping into. So it might be a little bit hard for Zvene to actually pull that off, but we'll see how that goes. Is up in the top side, Zvene misses the Vanguard's edge thanks to the flash from Valkyrie. Yeah. And now it looks like actually they might be looking to bring up Sybil into this top side. Zvene has to be a little careful because this wave hasn't perfectly crashed. And Sybil just fretting Zvene with a potential gank means that he's just going to have to reset in this bush, and Valkyrie quite happy to catch this wave underneath his tower.
Yep. So Victor makes another wrap around here. Draconium, still no flash.
Here he comes. Going in for the maul. They're just going to turn it around on to the support. Victor finds the kill, and a bit of revenge for earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, smart target selection when you think about it. Draconium has cleanse. Don't go for it. If we find the CC, he's just going to cleanse out of it. And the chain CC might not be there, but we can lock down winner for the full duration of a kill. And they do that. Pick up another one. All right. That's actually another one. It's their first time to kill this game. But after another attempt, they find their pick.
There was another kill found in the bot lane. Just different sides this time. Sybil and Ericsson looking to make their way down. Ericsson's got flash, got the Spirit Rush, but not going to go for it as Draconium. Just trying to get a little bit of damage off. These wards are going to get cleared out, and now Verdant have a little bit more freedom to move around on this side of the rift. Valkyrie got a nice shove here into Zvene. As we see actually a bit of a CS lead is starting to build up, but this is a large wave and this is an Aurelia, so that
Yeah.
CS lead should bounce back, and Zvene can actually take a little bit of poke to catch this wave just because of that Vamp Scepter.
Yeah. And this is one of the irritating things from the Jace side of the matchup, because for any aspiring Jace players out there, one general rule of thumb is never let the wave crash underneath your tower, because Jace absolutely sucks at them more often than not, especially in the early game. You're just not particularly a good champion at doing it. So you always want to try and, you know, slow stack waves, crash them underneath the tower of the enemy, and work off of that pressure instead, where you can get a little bit of poke, maybe some chip damage on the tower. Irelia loves those wave states because it's just a longer lane for her opponent to have to run away from. So you'll notice anytime Valkyrie does stack up a wave, he's going to play very cautiously. He's going to play effectively max range to it so he doesn't get stuck.
Oh, that might be one dead Polar Bear. Victor has to flash away, but Ericsson's going to chase. Ultimate gets used. Fatty P's coming in, steals away the Spirit Rush, and now he can jump. He can reset. Victor finds one. Now here's Svene looking for Winter. Reset will secure the kill. And that is 2 kills picked up for the side of Lightside. Verdant, they thought they found their pick. They thought they found their man. That volley bear, too big.
Yeah, too big, and the wish comes in as well. It cleanses off the ignite they had on top of the volley bear, and he just heals back up to half HP off the ultimate, off the Soraka ult as well. Now they're just going to be able to pick up Herald. Zvene had first move. It was Verdant that, you know, didn't really have too much of a right to be in that position. Valkyrie was coming back from base, and it's just a cheeky little attempt at a pick, but unfortunately they don't have the full burst damage. And I think Sybil was there at the very start, didn't commit the ultimate in the initial amount of burst.
Only actually taking a fight. There's lots of fights breaking out. There's the Vanguard. There's the flag. There's the drag. Valkyrie finds the kill. It was so close. As now Draconium caught out by the silence. Touch has to flash away, and that is going to be all they can achieve there in the bot side.
I think Svene autoed the control ward once or twice in the top brush.
Oh no!
I would need a replay for confirmation, but I think that's what happened. Unless. No, because the control ward was chunked out, so I think he actually ordered the control ward instead of a champion. That's a little bit unfortunate, because if Svene gets, you know, the takedown there onto the Jace, he maybe gets another Blade Surge reset for a little bit more healing, and maybe with Sybil not having any more cooldowns, he can kind of just attack him there.
He might have had a Triumph as well. He might have
even the Triumph as well. We'll get a look at, I think it's going to be the top one first. So, okay, clearing out the ward first. Oh no, because there was 2, so you'll see. I think he orders it here.
Oh, that was the kill. That was genuinely the kill.
Yeah, I mean,
passive stats.
I think it's tough to say though, because I think he was a little bit out of range of Jace. But even then, the amount of time you commit to ordering the ward and staying still instead, it still amounts to the same thing. So
hard to say. He had Conqueror. He had passive stacks. That could have been enough. It's the woulda, shoulda, couldas, but didn't happen in the end. As Ericsson getting this way shoved in by Fatty P, dodges out on the Abscond and Abduct, as he has got a charm here. If he can find it, Fatty P might die. Flash comes out from Fatty, and Ericsson does burn the Spirit Rush, but that's a trade you're quite happy to take as Ericsson here. Yeah,
I think so in most cases. Trying to just stop potential Herald from dropping in the mid lane. And loads of members now from Lightside as well, just coming to the mid lane, guarding this. They want to try and put this down where they can get a lot of gold. They want to try and claw something back somewhere on the map. Because it's Victor with most of the gold at the moment. 2 kills, 64 camps.
Yeah.
64 CS.
64 camps.
Can you imagine 64 camps?
This guy's fed at 11 minutes.
But do you remember, obviously, you know, each individual jungle camp used to have every little bit of creep that you took was just 1 CS.
Yeah.
Like how it should be, to be honest. But
bonkers numbers they had, but there we go. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, just not sure why you're there. You know everybody on the side is there. Simple as that. Yeah, I never understood that change when they brought it in.
I think it's an easier way to judge the power of junglers, because that you would compare their farm to the laner's farm. Yeah. And it was like you just get so much farm, especially in a meta where it was like a farming jungler. They'd have like 60 to 70 farm more than their mid lane, and you'd be like, wow, jungler's fed. It's like, no, they're just farm normal.
They're just farming normal. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're used to it now. It's been several years since the change.
I don't actually know the maths on the jungle farm now, though.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, that's a good flawless duet as well. Into the pick. Yeah. Sybil gets the kill. Cataclysm means that Valkyrie gets enough space to get away, though.
Yeah, exactly. Very fortunate for the Jace. And Svene, 2-1-0, 93 CS, 12 minutes. It's not the most CS in the world. Still down around 20 to Valkyrie, but you'd imagine. No.
Valkyrie's dead. There's the revenge.
Soraka is a broken champion. I don't know what to say. And I will actually kind of continue to worry because I think to a point, and you can definitely say the same thing for Lightside as well, but Verdant's damage kind of falls off just a little bit, if you were to ask me. Now, there is definitely words to be had about Zeri's damage, but
Yeah.
if you're talking about dealing enough damage to get through a Soraka's healing on the frontliners consistently, when all of them already have a lot of self-sustain, it's going to be hard. And they do already have, you know, a lot of executioners coming in, a lot of anti-heal to try and cut down some of that, but it's still going to scale quite hard, right? You've got the Moonstone there because you're the only enchanter. That's going to buff up the healing. You could see something like a Redemption come in second, which is, again, I think it's 20% flat healing and shielding power once you have that item come in. It's going to be a scary amount of healing to deal with, and obviously Verdant already know that. They're itemizing for it. Let's see whether, as things progress, they'll be able to cut through it, as Lightside actually have 2 dragons. I never noticed. They picked up both the first 2 dragons, and it is a Hex Tech soul.
So I was just saying, Sadie actually farm on the tower fairly effectively here.
Yeah, what are you
He missed one, and I was like, oh, it's going to be doomed. Svene actually looking to turn this one around, lands the Q, dodges back out, looking for that blade, looking for the ultimate, not going to go for more blade surges.
I'm gonna say it, if he had Vanguard's Edge, Verdant members would have just died.
Oh, he didn't have it. I thought he had it.
Nope.
Ericsson looks for touch, works a charm, dashes out because he can't actually do more.
All right. Aphis is out on the top side, but Herald spawning soon. That's why you probably see so many members here at the moment trying to jostle for vision. And actually, Reed, if I may ask, if we can take a look at the top side vision in general, because Lightside, not too much. This is obviously Verdant's vision. This is Lightside's. It's a massive pit of darkness for now. They can probably try and play through the top side if you want to try and get vision. But the issue is actually touches out of wards, so he's gonna have to reset if he wants to try and secure some more vision, but maybe they just go for the top side play instead. The issue is so many Verdant members around.
They got the edge. Not going to go for it.
Nope.
I think Valkyrie is playing this nice and respectfully, although he doesn't know he's on a ward.
No, but
they're going to get the solar flare. They're going to get the snare. They're going to get the reset. Vanguard's edge needs to come out any moment now. They find the kill. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Simple flashes away, and now Svictor knocked up, popped up, healing up with a maul, and he finds another one. Svictor unleashed.
Svictor was unleashed. I mean, it's got to feel bad for Verdant. They read the play. They read it perfectly, but it's just too much damage, and the healing again from the Wish across the map is the difference maker in ensuring that the Lightside members can stay up long enough to put out all the damage. And Svene didn't even get to cast Vanguard's Edge, and they still won out on that quite handedly. Herald won't be picked up on the back end of this play as Lightside opted to go for the waves underneath the tower instead. And maybe this gives a brief window for Verdant to try and come back out to the map, open onto the top side and go for it. But the issue is, to go for that Herald, they'll lose the third dragon, so they're going to probably go and look to contest that instead.
Going to be a very important dragon for them to get, as we are seeing the Triforce finished up on Draconium. There we go, I can speak. The Everfrost actually picked up at Ericsson. I know, bit of a controversial one actually, but that's why you pick it up, because if people are running at you, you need to be able to get out. Has got the ultimate, but holds it for the moment as Victor should just lose their life. Shut down for Draconium as a big injection to cash into your Zeri, who kind of really needs it. Although actually, no. 60 farm up on their laner, don't worry.
No, doing
ignore this guy.
Ignore him, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, he does want it either way. Oh! Fatty P with a fatty catty, able to find himself the kill. Valkyrie slides in. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Ericsson misses out on the charm, but that's going to be Zvene looking to try and find him with the Blade Surge, but can't go anymore. Beautiful Cataclysm, though.
I'm going to ignore the call.
That was amazing. Shut up.
Yes, Fatty P definitely goes in, secures the kill, but the issue is Verdant there on this dragon now, and Svictor in base. Not going to make it here in time, so the early stacking here of Lightside isn't going to amount to a very, very early soul. So Lightside, a little bit late to the party, not going to find anyone here. Could have maybe found the fire if they're a little bit quicker to get into this dragon. But the Herald is still up, so that's still something to fight for.
Yeah.
Your Lightside, you don't feel too bad about it. And I think what's going to be particularly scary is once we actually see Sadie show up to be healing the frontliners more aptly, as opposed to just, you know, pressing the R for these cross-map plays. as the burst damage for now for Verdant definitely worked.
He jumps in, gets the Magnet Storm onto 2, though. A great turnaround from Winter underneath the tower there, locked in. Even with the tower turned off, it's not going to do much because Victor charmed under tower. Draconium, Ka-ching, 4th kill picked up.
Yeah, I mean, rolling in the kills right now. So much gold already in his back pocket. Free lane into the Soraka. But of course, the idea of the Soraka to scale a little bit more into the game. Sybil, look at the engage!
Cataclysm! What an absolute slaughter of a fight! Sveni able to try and get a little bit more, but now it's Fatty all on his lonesome. The healing is huge. Fatty's alive. Fatty finds another kill, a double. Can't quite find them with the clean fight. Oh my word!
Oh, one effort from Fatty P's not quite able to get Ericsson that takedown. And if he did, he would have had another dash to get out of range of Draconium as well. But Verdant, they pick up everything they have to there. And again, it's Draconium that stays alive. 6-0. Runehead's Hurricane picked up. Take down that mid-tier 1. And it's such a great engage from Sybil to start that one. And Sveni is so close to staying alive.
The Cataclysm game, man.
It has on both sides. Whether it's been Fatty P casting the stolen ones or it's Sybil. What a scary, scary fight.
So many cataclysms we're experiencing a Rapture right now. Look at this.
Yeah, so this is the very initial engage from Touch, and it's definitely very deep, but you have the ability to turn off the tower, you have all the healing from the Soraka. I can understand the idea, but they're just not able to find any follow-up damage. Victor blows the stopwatch just to buy a little bit of time, but always going to drop there. We get this fast forward where Sybil, he just finds the angle over the wall. And he just sees them all clumped up just in that moment.
Bam.
Finds the 3-man.
Oh, the Everfrost
as well. Another crash down. And the turnaround for Sveni is almost massive. He just doesn't find the stun as well onto Valkyrie, which could have kept him alive. But it's all about Fatty P in the 1v4. Post all of that, he finds the first kill. Valkyrie, he's able to burst down. The tower shot actually goes onto Ericsson, so it doesn't kill the Jace as quickly.
He got so many Ariels.
Yeah, he just had so many Ari dashes, and unfortunately, he just didn't quite have enough. The landing heal, the auto attack, it just doesn't bring it lethal. And if it does, you have to wonder whether or not he could have dashed further out and maybe gotten away with it for free.
I think he could have dashed back in, got away, waited for the be able to attack range, and then find a little bit more. That was filthy, but it wasn't quite dirty enough. Didn't stick. And now Verdant are going to be able to pick up their 3rd tower of the game here. Gold lead 3,000 in their favor. The Verdant in an okay position right now. Lightside trying to see if they can get a little bit more. Finding an opportunity. Remember, they did get those first 2 dragons. We've got 1 minute 30 until the next one as well. And that's probably where the attention's going to be for these teams. I said the fights were going to be very one-sided. That was my expectation, Jamada. These are scrappy. These are not what I predicted wrong.
You did, and I mean, that's why you're the play-by-play. No, but I mean, I think it makes
like Fatty Catty.
I'm going to tell you about the implications of that call after. I love it, man.
You know what? No shame.
No shame. But yeah, the reason why you see, you know, so many of these scrappy fights is obviously the cop-out answer is the execution from both ends. It's just been...
Well, the execution of calling.
The execution of the team fights, Jake. Stay with me. Stay with me. But also, Lightside are running a composition with 4 melees and a Soraka. So naturally, everybody's just bruising. They're just full-blown fist fights in all of these bigger team fights themselves. And it's only really, you know, Valkyrie, Draconium, maybe. I mean, Valkyrie's half a melee champ as well. Draconium, the only real champion that's going to be playing at some kind of range, because even Ari gets in to try and find some CC, whether it be Everfrost or Charms. But Verdant, they're really trying to bully Lightside out of this jungle.
Oh, they're so grouped.
Yeah, I mean, any moment you see everybody step on top of each other, it just gets a little bit tense.
Sybil has flash as well, so they can close gaps like that. They can just snap starting a fight. Bit of poke coming out from Valkyrie. They're all grouped up. This is scary. This is very scary. They don't know exactly where Sybil is, but he is on the dragon. Victor needs to try and make a hero of a steel breakout here. There's the Magnet Storm to start us off. Onto Victor. Going to use the stopwatch for the moment. Fatty P jumps in. He's got the Cataclysm, but he's going to hold it out. The Vanguard's edge has come down, and it's a mosh pit inside the Cataclysms. Look at the health bars. They're so low on both sides. They're trying to get a little bit more. Sybil Sybil is able to secure the dragon, but his life is the cost. Svictor chasing onto Draconium. Touch is trying to come at the wall. They get the slow with that Sky Splitter, but the health bars are too low. It's a scary. Got him! Ericsson comes in, gets the charm off for the moment. Draconium's able to kite away. The health bars are low. Touch is able to survive for the moment. Ericsson doesn't have the ultimate. He has the flash. The zaps are coming out from Draconium. Lightside might have found the kills, but they lost the dragon. No, they got the dragon.
No,
Verdant got the dragon. Yes.
Verdant got the dragon. Verdant, they lost out on the team fight, but again, they deny a soul point take. And I mean, how obnoxious is Soraka, man? It just feels like the executioners don't matter. And Reed, I'm going to put a request on this replay because I know it's coming. Freeze frame the wish heal, because it was so disgusting how much health Lightside just got back in that brief press of a button. And like you said, it was just a straight up mosh pit. There was nothing else to say about the fight. It's just who has the health bars to stick around longer inside of these cataclysms. As the engage, I can't even remember who starts it, to be honest with you, because it was just.
I think it was Winter.
I think, yeah, Winter.
He magnet stormed, yeah.
I mean, let's go. So Winter onto Svictor. You know, there's just no follow-up that come through from Verdant because the pressure of the rest of the team coming in is so high. Vanguard's Edge finds multiple members, but there's just this mosh pit, and we'll get the freeze. Look at that! What? 619, 416, 443, 416, all at the press of a button. That's not balanced at all. And just off the back of that alone, they're able to keep all of their members alive. A 318 base heal from a protect, or whatever the W is called. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Have health.
Have health.
Have my health.
Yeah. And the thing as well, with such short range composition, at least in...
Valkyrie, he's locked down. He throws out the Vanguard's Edge, and bit of blade surging around from Zvene to heal back up. Ericsson just about saved the day, but has that Spirit Rush and might be feeling it. Who's hunting who? Tetch is coming forward. Winter looking for it. They get the shield off the moment. Interrupted by the Magnet Storm. Great charm from Ericsson. But Zvene has to flash out. Caught inside the Cataclysm. He's healing up and he's taken down. Sybil will lose his life. He's 1-for-1 so far. Another Everfrost comes out. Winter's going low. Draconium pumping out the damage.
Draconium.
Here we go. Zeri goes burr. Zeri go burr. Touch will fall. Draconium finds one. Finds two. Finds three. It's gonna be a quadra, baby! No, just a triple! Lightside! What a turnaround! They are quashed by Verdant!
Oh, Verdant on just the drop of a hat! With the Zeri, and I mean, this could be so much. The death timers, they're quite long. I think it's just going to be the inhibitor, though. Going for any much more, I think it's a bit of a risk, but maybe Verdant feel it. I mean, they have 4 members here. There's enough AD, but I think they're safe for call. Just back out. Zvene is there, and I mean, it's a montage moment from Draconium. That's going to be in his highlight reels for the future. Able to just flash forward so much freedom. Lightside, they just didn't have the CC to turn around onto him, and that's why it's so dangerous playing into Zeri when you don't have, you know, the point and click CC available on the spot to lock her down.
Yeah, you need it, and they used everything elsewhere. Oh man, this is a great game. Yeah, we're only 26 minutes in.
What was great was we were talking about which games we were expecting to be bangers today.
Yeah, I believe you had... I
had Knaves and Flung down as the big game of the day. This one providing so much entertainment. And yeah, Zvene in the bush finds the flawless duet. He's been so good with him all game. Vanguard's Edge connects as well, but it's just that Thundering Strike. I can't remember what he's called. Something like that.
Sky Splitter.
Knocks back Zvene. And yeah, a lot of burst damage kind of negated, and the charm actually hits Svictor, which means Zvene survives for a lot longer than he probably should have. It means the Cataclysm has to get committed onto the backside instead of maybe buying into FAP. And it's just a bit of an it's just that crit there. Where does it even come from?
The Hurricane is 20% crit chance.
It just hits everybody. And yeah, Draconium, I mean, it's like a fire range. He has too many targets. He doesn't even know who he wants to hit. And now Verdant, they're on the Baron. Lightside, they have to know it's going on, surely. They do now.
They're very much aware of it, but they can't do anything about it. That is Verdant's Baron. The gold lead, 5,000, almost 6,000 actually in their pocket. They're going to work this wave up, take this tier 2 in the top side. Mid lane's already chipped out pretty low, but Verdant do need to think about maybe going towards this dragon. Or are they just going to use Baron for tower pressure here and say, they're a long way off Soul. We can give this dragon over. It's fine.
Yeah, potentially so. I mean, at the end of the day, every play that you make has some kind of opportunity cost. In this case, the Baron is that opportunity cost. Or the dragon is that opportunity cost, and now they will have to play with the pressure of being one dragon away from Soul. But with the gold lead now so big, maybe they just feel confident that they can try and close out before the Soul becomes relevant. It's going to be difficult, but see what they can make happen here as Verdant there knocking on the door. And they're going to crack open that door, bust it down. And now the inhibitor in the mid lane is bare. Bottom lane minions, they're coming in soon.
Oh,
There's the engage.
They're looking for it. Everybody gets clumped together. Winter with the ultimate. The Vanguard's edge is huge. Already 1 kill's been picked up for the side of Verdant. Make it 2. A double picked up for Valkyrie. And the Zeria's unleashed. Draconium chasing down Sadie. Won't find the kill, but 4 members fall. And that is just a Soroka on their lonesome. This game is Verdant's to win. Lightside will fall apart when they needed it. 28 minutes on the clock, and Verdant are going to find themselves a win over Lightside.
And what a win for Verdant. Not just in the nature that they've done it, but just for the fact of, you know, they were in a position where relegation was looking more and more likely. They need these wins in the later stages of the split. And, I mean, coming out when it matters, even if, you know, you don't meet the expectations of playoffs, at the end of the day, as long as you don't finish bottom 2, that's the most or the least you could ask for from the roster. And as for Lightside, yeah, it just feels like things are falling apart at the seams.
It really felt like a lost team there. Some amazing fights. I mean, to be fair, I actually don't want to say a lost team at all, because I think there were some really good fights from Lightside. There's some really good fights from Verdant. And that game just came down 2 fights. It wasn't even who started the fights. It just came down to the execution halfway through. Both teams would throw everything into like a good engage. And then it was like 1 or 2 people, if they just had great positioning, that would be the key thing. And Verdant, they were able to pull more from their fight wins. They seem to be able to translate their fight wins into objectives and structures and just kind of pressure on the map. Well, I think that's where Lightside were missing. They were finding good fights, but when they won the fight, there was nothing to take. There wasn't a Baron, there wasn't towers, there wasn't, you know, dragons. There wasn't really anything like that for them to take. So great fighting from Lightside, but the macro, I think, was a little bit lackluster. But anyway, we're going to throw to a quick break. When we're back, we're going to have see you in a moment.